Welcome to episode 26 of the Pinnacle Combat Sports Podcast. I'm Jim, and I'm with Dan on a lovely Monday afternoon/evening, depending on where you're at. How you doing, buddy?
Doing well, man. How are you?
Pretty good. It's been an eventful weekend for us. We had our fantasy football draft, and
we did.
We had some good fights on also that we'll talk about in a minute here. But how do you like your team?
Oh, I'm pretty happy with the team, and the reason why I'm happy is just because I got all the rookies most of the rookies I wanted, I should say. You want Marvin Harrison Jr., but not everyone's going to get Marvin Harrison Jr., Jim. That's just how it goes. But
I thought about picking him up, and I didn't, just because he's a rookie. That's the only reason.
I know. I get it, man. I get it. But he is the real deal in his NFL genes and his blood. You know, so like he's bigger than his dad, faster than his dad. He's just like he's a freak. So it would be cool to see how that works over there in Arizona. But I was pumped to get that tight end, Trey McBride. He's a player I'm very high on.
Yeah.
Like I think he's like going to his third year. He's very good, dude.
Yeah. Dude, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't played fantasy in like I told you, like 10 years, I think.
Yeah, dude, I'm happy you got into it because you drafted a good team. There were some people that like they were like, oh, it's too early for that guy. I'm like, I get it, but if you want that guy, get that guy. Like I get the whole like strategy behind it.
Yeah, I think people think too much sometimes, and they're strategizing too much. Like you probably know, I don't know how you guys were talking about it when you were there, but I made some pretty bold picks. I think I was the first one to draft a quarterback. I was the first one to draft a kicker. Yep, I got Mahomes.
Not bad.
I was the first one to draft a defense. And randomly, I was like, all right, I got two good wide receivers. I got a good running back. I got Mahomes. I'm going to get another quarterback. And I got Aaron Rodgers, as you know.
Yep.
And that was mainly as like a bargaining chip. Because
smart.
We don't know how he's going to do, but he's Aaron Rodgers, so he's usually, at least top 5 in the league. And if someone needs a quarterback and Mahomes is doing well, I can trade. I have a bargaining chip there. So, and I got 2 great defenses too. I got Eagles and Jets, another possible bargaining chip. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Bold with it.
The only piece of advice I was going to tell you was just to drop that second kicker because you don't need him right away.
Oh yeah, and kickers are kind of a
well. The reason why I say it too, Jim, is because not even that. You have one of the best kickers of all time. Like Justin Tucker is one of the best kickers ever. So you already have him, and his bye week's 14. So you don't need a guy until week 14. Yeah. So it's like just get rid of him, pick up a player that might end up being. Usually I like to kind of handcuff a running back, maybe. I don't know who you have, or you just pick up another receiver. That you kind of like, I think Adam Thielen's out there again because he was a free agent in a lot of things, and then he went crazy beginning of the year.
Yeah, I think I might wait a week or two to see who's performing well before I do that. But I mean, I could always drop him; it's not a big deal. But
what I would do is just before week 1, grab a guy that you kind of can maybe looking at, grab him, and that way, whatever happens, like you said, you can replace him with the person you like.
Gotcha.
But that way, at least you kind of like, I do that a lot with the waivers and like picking people up right before Sunday's game. And I'm like, well, this could be the game he pops. So I want to get him before.
Okay. So well, we don't have to do it now because we got to talk MMA, but you know how all those waivers work. And like I said, it's been a long time since I played. So you'll have to explain that to me after this.
Oh, we'll go over it. It's very easy. Yeah.
Okay,
we'll talk about that.
It's just been a while. Yeah.
It's super easy. And there's a place in the app you can go to look at what your waiver priority number is.
I think
so that way you're
3.
Like, yeah, so it's like and that changes throughout the year, throughout the weeks and all that. So it's like you'll constantly be looking at it, and that way, like right now, you could get a waiver. I mean, everyone's a free agent at this point, I think, right now, because nothing's happened yet.
Yeah.
But once it gets going, it's nice to have that, especially if you get that one slot, because whoever you put in your waiver wire, that's who you get them.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of goes. But we'll go over all that. But no, it's exciting, man. Anytime.
Cool.
Anytime, dude.
And
it's the biggest weekend for drafts.
And we're playing each other the first week, which is actually
awesome.
pretty cool too.
I checked it. I checked it if we were playing week 8 when we're going out for that for UFC 30, what is it, 8?
308. Yeah.
I checked to see if we were, but I think we're playing again like week 10, so we just missed it. But
yeah.
That would have been funny, dude. But
that would have been great.
Either way, I'm happy you're in it. It's fun, dude. It's gonna be it's awesome. Yeah,
yeah. And all the guys do I know any of the other guys in the league? Because they all seem cool. I mean, from what the little chats that people have been making, but
they're a bunch of silly geese at work, and then so they're gonna be constantly calling each other fat and like just it's gonna
Yeah,
so
one of the guys' names is like Bob's Fat or something like that.
Yeah, it's literally just the guy that sits next to him in the office. So it's like they're just being nasty to each other. But Keita, and it's Keita's brother and Keita's brother's girlfriend.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool, awesome.
So there's other people that you know of, yeah. But hell yeah, we'll try to get you on the East Coast for one of these weeks so we can watch the games.
Oh, I really want to. But we'll see
if you can, dude.
Yeah, I'll try.
Yeah, let me know. I can.
Yeah,
I can get like an Airbnb somewhere just to get a flight. Just get out here. Don't worry about it.
All right, we'll
make it work, Jim.
All right,
hell man. Yeah. But let's get into these.
Yeah. So the one thing I wanted to bring up, we're doing MMA right now.
Yeah.
The first thing I wanted to talk about, and I didn't tell you well, you already probably have heard this, but I want to get your take on it because I have a take on it. And in the aftermath of 305, obviously, there's been talks of Pereira coming back down, or also Yuri coming down to 185. And my thoughts on, I think we talked about Pereira a little bit last episode, coming down to 85, but my question is, what do you think about Yuri? And my take on it is, if he comes down, there's just so much going on in the middleweight division right now. There's so many contenders that are like one victory away from a title shot. So obviously you have Sean Strickland, who gets the automatic go at Duplessis because he's been waiting, and he's arguably, a lot of people say he beat him. And he also beat.
That has to be next. First of all, 100%.
That's confirmed.
100%. I agree with that.
Yeah. But you also have Whitaker Chimaev, right? You have Adesanya, who's arguably one good win away from another title shot, depending on what happens. You have Imavov and Allen, right? They're fighting each other, I believe.
It's a big fight. That's a big fight right there.
That could potentially. They might be. A winner of that might have to fight one more. I would say Imavov Allen fights Adesanya. That'd be a good.
I love that matchup too. I love that matchup.
Yeah, and now you have the winner of this past weekend, Kyle Borralho, was probably one. I'd say, since it's so deep in the top 5, maybe 2 fights away from a title shot. Depending if he keeps finishing guys. Well, he didn't finish Cannonier, but he almost did.
And there should have, if the ref was really paying attention. I would have saved that man right there, dude.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's just so much going on. So if Yuri comes down, which, as long as Alex Pereira is the champion up at 205, I don't think Yuri wins that fight. So moving down wouldn't be. I just don't know how difficult of a weight cut that would be for him. It seems like it'd be really tough for him, but I don't know. I just think he'd have to fight somebody. You can't just come straight down and get a title shot.
No, especially have a loss in your division.
Yeah, you'd have to beat a contender. And Whitaker even said something. I can't remember what he said, but he told Yuri beware of what you wish for, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be crazy.
I know. Yeah, there's a lot of. All right, so
that's my take.
I don't even know what.
My take is there's too much going on for Yuri to think he can just come down and get a title shot handed to him. And maybe he's not thinking that, but maybe he's just thinking of a move to 185, which I guess, considering Pereira's got his ticket, I don't know.
I just don't understand why Yuri doesn't maybe take a look and reassess maybe your style, because that's the reason why you're not going to beat a guy who's a kickboxer who's been doing this for. I just don't. I think maybe he should switch some things up. I don't think, because you've been getting stopped, I don't think the best thing for you to do is to go and suck more weight out of you, that's only going to make your chin
Yeah.
Possibly have more issues. Like and that's not even to say that his chin was an issue, because you've seen him in other fights. It's not the thing. That's more Pereira just having the death touch mixed with accuracy and just been doing it forever and all that. So I just don't think that's the fix for him. I think he's too big a guy anyway.
Yeah.
Has he even tried to cut down that weight? You know, like, and you can say like, oh yeah, when I started my career, I was 185. I was like, you were different. You were just a different person because you know, as you at 25 versus 35, you'll be a whole different body composition.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
In a lot of ways, but I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea. But and he's definitely not going to be able to leapfrog much of anybody because that division's doing just fine with or without him. I think he should stay put.
And
take some fights and
stylistically,
reassess.
I think middleweight's a tougher division for him in many ways.
Sure.
So he's not only is he, you know, just because you go down weight doesn't mean you're going to have the advantage because you're a bigger guy all the time.
Well, also the reason why I say it at any weight, Adesanya's going to do the same exact thing Pereira did to him.
Yeah.
He's just understanding distance better and just catching you and knocking you out. That's what he's going to do because you do these. You know, I don't know if you even have any patterns in your movement, but he's just not coming from a traditional hands up. And just kind of like, I just think he could really benefit from maybe changing. Maybe you can go into that stance a little bit, and it could be your switch stance kind of deal. But I think he needs to change some things up.
Yeah, especially
I think he's too vulnerable.
Yeah, defensively.
Yeah, too vulnerable.
Figure it out.
Plus, you saw him again in that fight with Glover Teixeira, where he has so much other. You still have so many other skills. I mean, he submitted Glover Teixeira, didn't he?
I think so. What, arm triangle?
That's a huge feather in your cap, man.
Yeah.
So it's like, why don't you try to mix things up a little more too? You have other skills you could maybe mix into your game instead of, you know, always what's going to happen if you stand up with a championship kickboxer for too long? I mean, most people, it's not going to work out well, regardless of how great you are. You know what I mean?
Also, you know what else too? When he fights, man, and this is for the fans, this is great to have, but he's always looking for the kill, like so fast.
That's why people love him.
He's not very patient. Like if he like strategically figured out a game plan, he might do better. Like it's like be aggressive in this part of the round. You know, like I know a lot of fighters do this. They're like, okay, like try to set something up, see what's available, and then last 2 minutes of the round, turn it up, you know, to win the round and put yourself ahead in the scorecards or to win the fight. You know, like obviously don't always, you know, try to win the fight, but I feel like he doesn't do that. I feel like there's no patience behind, or maybe he's not thinking that. He's just thinking, go in there, take the opportunities that come, make the best of them, and put on a pace. And sometimes that works. Obviously, it's worked most of his career, but against some of these really high level, like guys like Alex Pereira and you know, Adesanya, or, you know, whatever. You really, like, everything matters. Like time and time management and stuff like that, like, matters in big fights. Especially you have 5 rounds in most of these fights, these championship or main events. Mm-hmm. You got time. You don't have to finish the fight in 2 rounds. You can, you know, see what you can do with that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I agree. I think defensively he needs to figure something out because that hands by your side, bouncing back and forth with some of these great kickboxers is not going to do you well.
If your hands are going to be at your waist, you're never going to be able to defend a Pereira kick when he wants to throw that. Like you saw what he did. He was setting him up the whole time too.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I mean, you saw how he knew he had it. That's why he just flipped that out there. That was so crazy, man. After he had him hurting that at the end of that first, he was like, "Oh, I got him."
Yeah.
It just kind of flicked it. Just flicked. Like obviously it was a powerful kick, but you know what I mean. The way he just do that was just like, I don't even have to be super powerful. I just have to be accurate with this one. And then, sure enough.
Did you see that? Or did I send it to you? I'm not sure if I sent it to you. That video of him explaining his footwork, Alex Pereira.
I don't think I saw that.
he said something, and I'd have to find it again, and I'll try after this. But
Saw the tire.
oh yeah, that was funny. He went to his old tire shop, and he fucking dude, like he didn't even skip a beat. Like he hasn't been fighting for however many years. He just yeah, but he was showing like a lot of people look at your lead foot to tell you where you're gonna go next with whatever kick or whatever. And
It's so high level shit.
He doesn't move his lead foot. So if he's in, whatever, southpaw, whatever, he will step with his back foot to set up his next move. Because all the weight in the hips or whatever is set up from, I don't know, it's so weird. That's why a lot of things people can't see it coming, especially that kick. Because he's stepping with his back foot before his lead foot.
That makes sense. So instead of like stepping out, he's kind of like dragging, or I don't know what the right word would be.
Put it like, all right. So if you're standing regular, right, and you're gonna throw your lead leg for a head kick. I'm not sure if that's the one he got Yuri with, but he's
pretty sure
bringing his back foot and putting it underneath him to support his hips to kick up. So it's basically like if you're looking at his lead leg, it's just coming up for the kick right away. It's not moving at all. And his back foot is yeah, I gotta find it. It's really interesting. And you see him how he's checking kicks now? Have you seen this video?
There's other, not the new one, but I know he's had.
Dude, he's checking kicks with his back foot. So when the guy goes for a calf kick, he's kind of stepping forward with his back foot and kicking it behind his leg. He's kicking the other dude's foot away from his leg with his back foot.
Dude, it's crazy to see that, huh? Then you're gonna see the people that had the ability to do it. They're gonna start copycatting it, and then maybe we'll finally have some form of a defense against a calf kick, because it is weird how they would talk about how Benson Henderson was probably one of the first to throw it. Yeah. And then, but it never really became a thing until semi recent, even though it's been quite a bit, but you know what I mean? It seems like now it's become an issue for people.
Well, a big part of it was when, I think, was it Dustin that hit Connor with it in the first,
I guess that might have really, maybe that really did it then.
Like that was a big reason why. Well, Dustin said a big reason why Connor just didn't have a lot after that. A couple of those, he was like two or three, and maybe Connor even said it too. It's like after a couple of those, it was tough to continue. Yeah, that
was when it was nice Connor to Dustin. That weird rematch. Yeah. No, I mean, Dustin's a beast, dude. So.
Yeah, I'll have to find those and find those videos and send them to you because they're insane. Like he's playing chess.
That would be cool. Absolutely, yeah, that'd be cool to see that. Because that's why I like Dan Hardy's breakdown so much. Mm-hmm. It's because he had one when he was breaking down Conor McGregor when he fought Eddie Alvarez, which was just on fire. Like just everything, and he showed kind of the shuffles and the kind of like the foot, like kind of like more so like what you were talking about with Baheda in a different way, but like. Just the things he was doing where he was kind of powering his jab out there to make Alvarez feel like he really wasn't in range. And then he shuffled his feet, and the next thing you knew, he was in range. And Alvarez didn't even know he made a step forward. Uh-huh. And then he's right there. And it was like, it's so cool to see that. Because it's like, when you're watching it live, you're just seeing what you know exactly what I'm talking about.
You're seeing the action of the punch or the kick. But you're not seeing.
That's all I'm looking for. Because if I'm scoring the fight, I'm just looking for how these punches and how these kicks are affecting them. So I'm not watching necessarily the footwork. That's what's so cool to see after and hear about after.
But anybody can punch and kick. These guys are so good though. They're not gonna waste that energy unless they're confident with their positioning. So they got to set up the position to give them the opportunity to land flush on the punch or kick. And that's what the cool parts of the breakdowns are, when you see that footwork that puts them in the position. because they're like, they say it all the time. They're like playing chess in their minds. Okay, like this guy's moving this way. How can I move in a way that puts me in a better position so that I can get the knockout, or whatever, the takedown or whatever. And yeah, that shit's really cool. And Dan Hardy's great. We mention him all the time on this podcast.
He's awesome at it. And a lot of times they'll do that just to they'll make certain movements and certain feints just to get you to do something you don't want to do. But you're nervous and they're just kind of pushing you to do things. Like Anderson Silva was so good at that.
Yeah.
He put that pressure on you. He's like right in front of you and he's not really like that close to you, but he was putting so much pressure on you, you felt, that people would just start throwing these like naked shots out. And that's what he wanted.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, he's in like, it's cool to watch that because I think a lot of people just think it's cockiness when people have their hands low, but like it's not always that if it's done in the right way. Because it kind of makes you think that you are in a spot where you can hit someone where you really can't, and he knows that, but he wants you to throw that so that he can throw his counter to your counter. So it's like I love that shit, and that's what Dan Hardy he's so good at. I think he's the best. Honestly.
Yeah, and a lot of fighters too, really good jiu-jitsu guys will give up a position because they know they're better in a certain place. Sure. You hear that all the time. They're like, "Oh, I'm going to give him the arm because he doesn't like I'm already 3 steps ahead of him." You can take the arm.
Like Randy Couture always even if he could take mount, he always preferred half guard to beat people up.
Yeah. Yeah.
He'd always just hang there because he knew he could just he hold you there and you couldn't go anywhere. Yeah. And he just probably liked a certain shot and
in some positions, it leaves the other guy thinking they're in a better position, but actually they're not, because the other guy has a plan that maybe you didn't. He's not letting you in on, and you're going to find out soon enough. But
crap.
Yeah. But we talked a lot about that. We digress. Let's get into the card from Saturday night. Let's start with the main event. What'd you think? And we talked about it a little bit with him being in, that should put him top 5 now because Cannonier was a number 5 competitor.
Dude, I got Tyreek Hill in the draft.
You did.
Sorry. Anyway, yeah. Sorry, dude. I had to brag a bit. What are we talking about? I'm sorry.
The card. Main event.
I'm sorry though. So
you just better hope that Tyreek Hill does well week 1.
Oh, dude, he better, dude. My
boys are coming for you.
I got a bunch of rooks, dude. I got a bunch of rooks too, dude. And I got Keenan Allen, Old Faithful.
I got George Kittle.
Oh yeah, dude. When he's healthy and he's on, he's easy top 5. So it's always a good pick. But you always want to have a backup because he gets banged up quite a bit. But anyways, so we just keep going back and forth.
We're excited.
Sorry, I derailed it. So I'm sorry. What was your question about the main event?
What did you think?
Oh, what did I think? Yeah. Oh, I thought that was a perfect fight for Borralho. As you say, Borralho.
I think Borralho. Yeah.
Borralho. It was great test for him to see kind of where he's at, and dude, he passed with flying colors. It was a competitive fight throughout, but you could tell who was winning most of it. Yeah. I think it was maybe the second round. Cannonier had him it seemed like he had him hurt. Mm-hmm. Or a little wobbly. But other than that, he pretty much won most of the fight, and like we talked about towards the end, and he kind of had like a little flash knockout right at the end there. I thought it was over.
So
but it's also only more selfish because when I did like a couple little DraftKings fights, I won Mearshart via submission, so I got some money
crazy,
there.
Really? Whoa.
Oh yeah. That's not you, but that's what he does. So I was like, all right, I think he's gonna get it tonight. And that one hit, but the one that I almost hit was Borralho KO over 2.5 rounds. I was like, all right, I like that.
Ooh, yeah, that was close.
And it would have been, if it was a stoppage at the end of the 5th, it would have been right on the money. But so selfishly, Jim. But it was also like I thought that would. I don't know if the ref might have not seen how it, but he was out.
He was
out on his feet.
Yeah,
that
for sure.
I think if the ref was watching, he probably should have stopped it right there. Because if you see him go out like that, I think you should. But that's a whole nother I can't even remember how much time was it. Was it less than 30 seconds or was it more than that? What was it about that, Jim? You
It
remember?
says, oh no, I don't remember. Yeah, I don't
Because
remember.
there's
It
a
was,
decision, so we don't
yeah, it was probably like
under a minute, right?
yeah, it was like a minute left, I think, probably.
Okay. Um, but I mean, man, he looked great. And plus, he didn't really get to show his grapple and his submissions as much.
Yeah.
Um, I like, I really like how he switches because he fights at southpaw, and I like how he jumps into orthodox and throws that calf kick because that people Cannonier was not ready for that, and that hurt him.
Oh yeah, for
Um,
sure.
but he's just smooth. Throws really good head kicks with no tell, kind of like Duplessis. That was what most impressive about him when I watched him. Or the more I've watched him when I was watching up the lead up to the Adesanya fight, like that head kick he throws is great.
Yeah.
There's no tell there. It's so quick. Borralho's very similar. But what did you think?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a back and forth war. I think both
It was
guys.
a very good fight.
It wasn't. I mean, it was one sided in terms of judging and scoring, maybe. But as a fight, it was pretty even. It could have went
Well, that's
either
the thing.
way. Yeah.
In those competitive fights, even if it's 4-1, but if it's back and forth, but the guy just happens to be in control and he keeps edging out these rounds,
Yeah.
that's all that is.
That's pretty much
It
what it was.
doesn't mean, it's not that same thing as that 50-45, where it's like, like John Jones, who was a good decision of that, like Rashad Evans when they fought. It was pretty much a clear 5-0 sweep. Just couldn't get to him really. It was just one of those ones, but that's not what that was. Cannonier was dangerous throughout. And like I said, he hurt him. I know he hurt him in that second round. It seemed like, but it was just a great. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better challenge.
Yeah,
To
it
be
was
able
a
to
perfect
get through that. It's very good. Because that's what I was going to say to you too. But we went on to something else when we touched on it. So with that win there, he was what 12, and Cannonier was 5, so he could take that spot. So he's right in that top 5.
Well,
So
they've
you
been
figure
doing
now if he
that
gets
recently.
one more win, but if he gets one more win, he's right there.
Yeah.
You figure if maybe Paulo Costa, who else is there?
Oh, I got it up right here. I have
He's
it up
probably a little
now
higher than that,
every
right?
week.
He's a little higher than that, right?
Middleweight. Paulo Costa's 8.
Okay, all right.
But then
So that probably wouldn't make sense.
So if he gets number 5, I'll just 7 through 1. We got Brendan Allen, Marvin Vittori, Cannonier's out of there now. Imavov, Whitaker, Adesanya, Strickland. So, or there's also
There's not much options right now for him.
Yeah, I mean,
He almost has to hold and wait.
I think they're talking about did they announce a Delidze fight? Delidze's up there at 10. Hermanson,
Too bad
Jack
he's not a little
Hermanson.
further down. I say you give Borralho the winner of Whitaker Chimaev.
Oh my god.
I like that.
That'd be pretty crazy. Either way.
Yeah, I kind of like that one. That would make sense to me either way. Because so you figure if Chimaev wins, that would catapult him into that top 5 somewhere abouts. It's a great fight. And then Borralho, even more so if Whitaker wins, which I do think Whitaker's going to beat Chimaev. So if he does, that's a phenomenal fight. Whitaker and Borralho. But I think the dude's right there. He's he's in a perfect spot. So we'll just see how the next few fights play out, like Duplessis and Strickland, right? Like we were talking about.
Yeah, there's just so much going on right now. Middleweight.
What about even Borralho and Adesanya?
Yeah, I'm sure he would love to have that fight.
Because Adesanya's right there in that 2-3 range. Borralho will be in the top 5 now.
They just fought a week apart or a couple weeks apart.
Very interesting matchup. I wouldn't hate that at all.
Yeah, I would actually. I actually like that a lot.
I might like that more now that I think about it.
Yeah,
because that makes sense for both guys. Because both guys just need another. Because Adesanya shuts down another rising prospect coming up, like a true could be title contender or probably will be at some point.
Yeah.
That puts him right back where he wants to be. And then if Borralho beats him, that's even crazier. Because then he can kind of say whatever he wants if he wins that fight. He's out there
Absolutely.
like, I'm next, and that's it. You know.
Actually,
So
and they can have a full camp. They fought around the same time. That's
I like it.
I like that too. Yeah.
Put them on the same card.
Yeah.
Duplessis, Strickland, Adesanya,
Ooh, that'd be
um,
crazy. Yeah.
Borralho, put on the same card. Why the hell not, Jim? Why the heck not? Excuse my language. Sorry. Getting a little
um
wild.
well, I like that. I like that take. That's great. Let's move on to the co-main. Angela Overkill Hill and Tabitha Ricci. What'd you think?
What'd you think about that? Let me ask you first.
I thought it was a I thought it was way closer.
Who'd you think won that fight?
See, oh, man, I had Angela Hill win in the fight.
I did too. That's why I said I didn't. And it
Yeah.
wasn't
I'm not like
nothing,
mad about it.
not at all. Nothing close, nothing that resembles a robbery whatsoever.
No.
But
But
I had
I had
I had a
Angela Hill.
29-28 Angela Hill
It was a great fight
because she
though.
seemed to be coming on later on in the fight. I think a
Yeah.
little more like I think what probably got it for Tabitha Ricci is just that she clearly had it seemed like more power on punches.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean she's all her boyfriend's a very good he's gonna be a great boxer.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
just starting like who
I forget
God
his
damn it,
name,
I'm
but he
blanking
was
on his
there
name.
in the crowd there.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
he's so good. Yeah, I've been watching
Is
him.
he an Irish guy or a
Yes, yep. But
yeah.
he's very good. So it's gonna rub off. Um, and it showed. She had like I said, I'm not at all um complaining about it at all. But I had it going the other way,
Yeah,
2-1.
me
But it was a good fight though, man. It was fun. I kind of figured it'd be high paced. A lot of these strawweights are uh, very evenly matched in a
Yeah,
lot of ways.
yeah. And
So
also, hats off to Tabitha Ricci. She did not I don't think she took one step backwards that whole fight.
not at all, not at
She
all.
just
No.
was coming forward the whole time, putting pressure. And honestly, Angela Hill, like, she got tagged a bunch of times, but
Especially early. She's getting hit a lot early. I was surprised.
yeah, but she held the pressure well. She took it on really well. And then you know what? She posted a video either that night or the next day saying this is what however many significant strikes look like, and she a close up of her face, and she looks totally fine. She's like, yeah, I don't know about that in terms of significant strikes, but because her face was all like fine. But yeah,
I do.
Tabitha, they both fought a really good fight. Um, I just maybe it's the pressure that did it for the judges or something. I'm not sure, but Tabitha Ricci's always coming forward.
Oh, if that's what they thought it was, it's like, well, I see your point. I just thought it. That's another thing, kind of to your point before about the way some of these rounds are just scored. Sometimes it's just the way these rounds are scored, and I
Yeah,
just thought that seemed like Angela Hill edged out 2 rounds. That's all. It didn't mean that Ricci seemed to have, I would say, probably bigger moments as far as scoring with punches as far as hurting her. It
yeah,
just seemed like she had more power. So I get you could say that, but I just like I said, if you're looking at it as a 3 round fight where you're saying one person won this round, that round, and that round, I just thought Hill got 2. That's all.
yeah.
But it was close, man. It was close. But I have no argument if that's the case. If they're saying pressure, it's like, well, yeah, she was definitely the more aggressive fighter coming forward, but that doesn't always tell you everything.
Yeah, for sure. And then we had two. We could talk about both of these together, but we had the two Ultimate Fighter finale winners. Marin Santos and Ryan Loder won contracts for the UFC. Um, well, I'll just start out. Marin Santos looked amazing, dude.
He
Like,
is going to be a problem for people at
yeah,
featherweight. Holy shit.
and that knockout was amazing.
Brutal.
Yeah, and he had the dude's ticket the whole time, pretty much. Like he outmaneuvered him, he outboxed him. He was just the better fighter, hands down. I think
Footwork was wild.
the other fight could have went either way, but Ryan Loder looked really good too.
That was just wrestling. he beat him with wrestling, and it was perfect game plan for that dude, because that dude is a problem to stand with. So, and he was never really comfortable to stand.
Yeah.
And it was great. He got him in the crucifix. It didn't seem like I don't know. Kind of wish they let it go a little longer. But then again, if you're in the crucifix, you got to stay out of that, man.
Yeah, if you can't get out,
because they're going to stop it. They're going to stop it. So, but it was a pretty dominant performance by him. Kind of showed how his wrestling, like he said he was gonna, and he did. I don't know how he'll be in UFC though. I don't know. Nothing about him really wowed me.
Yeah.
As far as like UFC level, like, and that's more because of the guy who fought before him, where you're like, oh, you're excited to see him fight top guys.
Yeah, maybe that was a little bit of it right there. Yeah, it's hard to follow that kind of knockout.
It's got to be a lot of that, but I know he's definitely really good. So we'll see. Hopefully, they just kind of don't throw him too soon into anything.
Well, also, I mean, look at the guys we've just been talking about the whole episode in middleweight. That those are the potential
they've been around
fights.
Too, Jim. They've been around. That's why I say it, because the guy, he's really good, but I don't know how. I have to look up how old he is, but he's only 8-1. So he's one of. You just don't want to see too many of those guys get pushed too quickly. Because even if he gets a couple wins, and then next thing you see him fighting somebody, like, you shouldn't be fighting this guy yet. I just don't want to see that mess with someone's. Well, I mean, he's also 33, so he's not here for a long time. So screw it, man. Let it go. But 8-1, hopefully he's had some other experience in some type of combat sports. But
he kind of looks like Luke Rockhold, like his little brother.
Oh, really?
Doesn't he? I mean, just like his visual, his face and build.
No, he's good, man. I just don't, like we said, but we're only holding him to the standard as the top 15, and the top 15 in middleweight's wild. It's pretty crazy. So that's all. That's the only reason why. And that's most divisions now in the UFC, man. This is not, it's like nothing that we remember in the past, where there could have been what you could say more like a tune-up type fight. If a guy lost a big fight and he kind of gets sent down, the fight he's supposed to win, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean it's a guy that's not good. It's just like, he's supposed to win this fight. There's not really many of those anymore, man. It's not really the same thing.
Also, with you saying that, I remember back, 10 years ago or whatever, there was always, for almost every division, there was a gatekeeper, and I feel like
a true gatekeeper.
Yeah, true gatekeeper. And I feel like there's not many. If there is any, there might be one or two, but yeah, almost every weight class had a gatekeeper.
Yep.
And you don't see that as much now, especially and even if you do, they're like unranked. They're like 15 or something. It's crazy. But congratulations to Ryan Loder and Marin Santos. I can't wait to see, especially what Santos has coming next. But like you said, at 33 years old, I mean, this is your 15 minutes, brother. Go get it. Ryan Loder, I want to see what you can do.
Oh,
man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it and being disrespectful. Well, all I'm saying is that he's 8-1 versus a guy like Myron Santos, who's 24, who's a lot younger, and he's also 15-1.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just think he's had a lot more of a rub, and he's ready, and he's young. That's what I'm excited about. It's no disrespect.
Yeah.
I'm old too, dude. I'm 2 years older than that dude. I'm just saying, it's a young man's game. It's becoming more and more that.
Yeah.
And I think it's become, it's a different thing now.
Especially in the lower weight classes.
Yes, that's mainly that, exactly, because these guys are just, it's all based on reaction time, and you just can't. A lot of these guys can't physically have the same reaction time as a 24-year-old professional. You know what I mean? It's just not the same thing.
Yeah.
When 10 years later, but hell yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing either guy, because that's a great fight, and that's pretty much the route he's going to have to take in middleweight anyway. Talking about Ryan Loder, right? Mm-hmm. You figure if he's going to be successful, he's going to have to try to get that, like, implement his game plan, grind you out wrestling, either submit you or ground and pound you. That's going to be how he's going to beat most middleweights, probably, because there's a lot of strikers in that.
For
So,
sure, yeah.
Which is awesome. And if he sharpens up his striking even more, because he has I like his kicks, but we also didn't get to see a lot of them because you knew what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
He was trying to take him down, so we didn't get to see too much of that. But both guys, it's awesome. It was a good season too. I watched a bit of that.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch much of it. I think I watched like the first couple episodes, but
Okay.
I can't wait to see Grasso Shevchenko. I'll tell you that. That's going to be a great fight. That's going to be a banger. As and
like I said, Contender Series. Shout out to that tomorrow again. But that's kind of replaced the Ultimate Fighter for me as far as excitement.
Yeah, for me too.
Yeah.
Let's get on to the next one. Your boy Michael Morales, the Spider-Man,
Dude, he
put on a clinic. Unfortunately for Neil Magny, had to be the one to take that one. I don't know, man. Like this guy, 17-0 now. I think I was telling you I saw that. I think he has like the 4th best record in the UFC, 4th or 5th. So, and all those guys are undefeated.
Yeah.
Dude, so where does this put him? What was Neil Magny? Neil Magny, welterweight.
Is he in the 15?
Yeah, he was 12. So this
12,
puts
okay.
him in the top 10 pretty much.
Who's around him now, Jim? Who's around Morales now? If you just say he's 12 now.
If he's 12, ahead of him is Joaquin Buckley, Jeff Neal, Wonderboy, Sean Brady, Ian Gary, Gilbert Burns, Jack Della Maddalena, Kobe, Shavkat, Kamaru, and Leon.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Right? Where's the gatekeeper? Tell me where there's a gatekeeper there.
I'm not telling him. I'm not telling anyone that.
I think he might have just beat the gatekeeper.
No, honestly, that's not even a bad thing. It's just like you're a mainstay in the UFC.
Yeah,
you just
not when the
you just
rest
happen
of the
to not be
division
at
looks like that.
title level. Yeah, but it's like it's like one of those things. You just think of the percentage of the fighters that are in a championship level position. It's a small percentage. So you're fortunate if you get there, but if you're not, if you're a mainstay in the UFC, is that a bad thing?
Dude, anyone in the top 15
won more than he's lost by a long shot, I'm sure. I don't know what his record is, but
who?
Yeah, 29-3, 29-13 rather. Magny.
Oh.
Like he's had plenty of success in the UFC.
Yeah.
He's running into a lot of these young prospects. Like, let's see, let's pull it up real quick.
But dude, seriously,
what do you think about Morales? Was that your first time seeing him?
Anybody in the top 15 is a killer in pretty much every division in the UFC. So, no, he looked amazing. He looked great. He looked amazing. That was my first time seeing him, and I can't wait to see him again and see what they give him next. What do you think would be a good?
But that's also the real 12. Thing. Real quick, Jim. Real quick. His last 3 fights, Neil Magny's had to fight that Michael Morales dude and Ian Machado Gary. So you fought 2 of the guys that are probably going to be in the top 5 for a while now.
Yeah.
Like coming up. So it's like, he's getting a tough draw with these guys too. Because he beats most of the division. It's just maybe not the top 5, 10 or so. Sorry, what was your question about it?
Oh, but he also lost to Gilbert Burns.
Oh yeah.
He beat Rodriguez. Rodriguez is great. Who's that? Danny Rodriguez. He lost to Rachmanov.
Yeah, he had to fight Rachmanov too. So he's fighting all these guys.
He beat Griffin. He has some good wins on his side too.
Oh, he's a lot.
But all those guys he fought are like really great fighters. So, yeah.
What do you think, Jim?
Yeah, what do you think would be a good matchup for Morales next? Do you have the rankings there or no?
No. So you said, what else did you say? What did you say was around him?
Well, actually, 2 weeks from now, Sean Brady and Gilbert Burns are fighting. That might be a good matchup. The winner of
that would be cool. The winner of that would be cool.
And they're
That
going to
might make
be
sense.
Gilbert's 6, Sean Brady's 8. That's perfect.
I like that. That's a good matchup. That might be it.
Yeah.
That could be the plan.
Because then you got
Like I said,
Wonder Boy's already fighting Joaquin Buckley.
Yep.
Which is awesome. Can't wait for that. Ian
like
Gary is going to try to move into the top 5. He's still reaching for Kobe. Let's see if that happens. But yeah, that might be it. Sean Brady, Gilbert Burns. That's really the only thing left in that area that's open right now. So
I like that matchup.
That'd be fun. But yeah, he looked great, dude. Welterweight, another killer division. We got another Ecuadorian. Him and Chito.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, but that's the thing about him too, because what Neil Magny, they say 6'3", Morales just looked bigger. Like he just looked like a bigger guy.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Regardless of giving up the height, even though he says he's 6 feet, he's a big welterweight, or at least it seems. It doesn't always have to be height. That's the thing. It's not always just height. Like he just seems like a big 170.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just his presence, because he's going to be a problem for these guys, man. If you're 1150 favorite, is that what he was against Magny? That's wild.
Well, UFC says 850, but I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe the fight ended at 1150 or something.
Pre-fight, it said Espen. Espen has 1150.
Espen.
Espen? You know what that's from?
Espen? Yeah, I know what it's from.
Oh my god.
What's it called?
Deleted Scenes, Anchorman. That's a terrible name.
That's just dumb.
24-hour. It's like a 24-hour cooking network.
Yeah. This is an economic and cultural disaster. Well, let's get on to the first on the main card. Edmund Shabazian against Gerald Mershart. And you said you had Mershart by submission, and
I took him by subby.
That fight up until the submission, that was a really bad bet.
It was looking rough.
It was looking real rough for him. That was a big comeback, dude. Like I got excited. I jumped out of bed when I was watching that. I was like, "Damn, let's go!"
Yeah, no, that was very good, because I threw a small 5 on it, Jim. It's small money you're winning, but
yeah, but you probably won 3 times.
Yeah, I won $1,200. So no, it was only $25. So, but you pretty much the bets that I made, I won it back. So I came out even. So I'm like,
yeah.
Anytime you do that, you're like, all right, I live to fight another day here.
That's a win in my life.
Yeah.
So
yeah, breaking even's always not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, no, yeah. But dude, I mean, you gotta give props to anybody who's down, basically 2 rounds to none. He's at the end of the second round. He's getting his ass kicked literally for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And there's no quit. And it's like, I'm going to take the opportunities that are given to me and make the best of them. I mean, that's a real true, I don't know. I could just imagine if I'm getting my ass kicked physically, not just physically, but I mean, like, just the whole fight. There was nothing positive.
You start to fall off your game, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe your game plan might fall apart. Yeah.
Your whole
mindset. And he didn't have any of that?
None of that. He's like, I know something will come and I'll make something happen.
Yeah. No, you love seeing that type of thing, because it's like that honorable warrior, the way he just knows this is how I have to win. So he has to stay focused throughout, because he just needs that one, even if it's a slip.
Yep.
And if someone gives you his back and he can get it, or he can get a take, just anything, he needs to be, but he also has to roll that dice and understand that, it's kind of like what Chimaev did to him. That was when we saw it, we're like, oh my God, who is this guy?
Yeah.
When Chimaev came out on the scene,
mm-hmm.
I want to say that was his first fight in UFC.
Probably, yeah. I think so.
I think it was one of them because it was at 185, and then I was like, who is this guy? Because he just one punch death touch. I was like, okay, who's this guy? When he fought Meerschaert, let's see when that was.
Oh, it was Meerschaert's. Oh, was it Chimaev's first fight? It
That's
was
what I was kind of alluding
September
to.
2020.
That was probably around. It probably wasn't Chimaev's first fight in UFC, right?
It might have been.
Check him out now. I'm just curious.
No, it wasn't. He fought 2 times before that.
Yes.
Phillips and McKee.
He just took that fight up in weight. But no, it was awesome, man. It was great to see. For Meerschaert, it was a great win. Especially like you said, you were thoroughly getting beaten.
And you were the underdog. You were the underdog coming in.
To begin with, you were.
Pretty big
which was
underdog.
just looking like it was going how it was the better say, But I just, like I said, I usually throw. I'm like, okay, that's what he does. So those are usually the ones that I go for. I'm like, all right, he's a specialist.
Yeah.
The only route he's most likely going to have is that. Let's throw a small 5 on it. See what happens, Jim.
Well, paid
just
out
to
well
cover
for
my
you.
bet. It did. And I almost, like I said, I would have won 50 more if Borralho if he got the stoppage in the 5th there.
Yeah.
But like I said, we'll get there. I guess that one, what was that? Almost $600. I was pumped about that one. That was just on free fights.
Yeah.
That was awesome. That was a 3-way tie, Jim. So if I won outright, I would have been able to retire, I think. What is that? Just kidding.
It's just simple math.
Dude, 3 times that money, dude, I would have been in Venice.
Venice.
I don't know.
Pennsylvania.
You ever heard of it? But no, great win. That was awesome. But dude, this one that we're going to talk, this was an awesome fight. You got to definitely, don't forget to rewatch this one tonight.
Yeah, this is the featured prelim.
It was a very good fight.
Dennis Bazooka? Is that how you say it?
It's very, very close. It may as well be. Yeah.
And then Francis Marshall. So split decision.
Fire Marshal, I think.
Huh?
I think that's his nickname. Fire Marshal.
Oh, is he a fireman?
You know who I'm pretty sure he's the protege of?
Who?
Remember Kurt Pellegrino? Kurt Batman Pellegrino?
Vaguely. Sounds familiar.
I bet you if you looked up his face, you'd know for sure.
I'm gonna look him up.
Because he's obviously he's fought definitely names in the UFC. You remember? Like I'm pretty sure he got triangled by Nate Diaz.
Yeah. I remember this guy.
Yep. I'm pretty sure that's who, because he's Francis Marshall's. I think he's a New Jersey dude.
Okay.
And that's what's cool too, because I'm pretty sure he's from Jersey, and then I'm positive. We should just call him Bazooka then, right? We'll call him Bazooka, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bazooka's Serra-Longo, so he's over, somewhere over that way. So there you got a couple of bad boys from the East Coast there, and it was a great fight, dude. It was awesome.
Yeah, don't tell me too much because I only watched the main card this weekend.
It won't really ruin it because it's a decision and you know that.
Yeah.
So the only thing I will say is when the fight starts, it won't ruin it because you'll see it right away. It did not look like Bazooka was going to make much of a rebound. It just looked like Marshall was putting a lot on him.
Oh, okay.
It seemed like a matter of time. And then all of a sudden, it might have been somewhere in the second, but dude, he turned. The tide just turned. But it was still back and forth. But all of a sudden, Bazooka was getting the better of the exchanges, and he was starting to bust them up a little bit. It was a very good fight.
Okay, cool.
So you'll see.
I love the shit like that.
That was my favorite fight of the night. Obviously, like I said, going into the main event, that was my favorite fight of the night. So,
Any other prelims that stood out to you while we're on this card before we go to the next one?
100%. Wang Kong looked. Did you watch that?
No.
Watch that too? That was a minute. So the reason why it's so amazing, it's early in the fight. I don't care who it is in UFC, but it's women's flyweight. It's only 125 pounds. The way she knocked her out, you'll see what I'm talking about. That's someone to watch.
Oh shit!
Yes, she's only 6-0, 6-0 from China, Wang Kong. But it was the first fight of the night. I was watching it and I missed it because I mistimed when they were announcing the fight. Yeah. And the next thing you know, it started. But you figure you had the first minute, you might not miss many shots, and the next thing you know, I'm like, oh shit, she's out. She's out.
Oh man.
So yeah, you got to watch that one too. But she looked awesome.
Okay, nice.
So just to be able to have that kind of danger, to have to deal with at that weight, even 125 men's, Jim, not many guys are getting starts like that.
Yeah.
So you'll see it, and you'll be like, oh shit. But I would say those are the two, and that's only a minute, and then the other one's a full 3 rounds, and that's well worth the 3 rounds, Jim. That fight was great.
Okay.
Both guys really, man, yeah, that's one of those fights where you're watching, it's like, because that was at the Apex, right? There's a crowd there. Yep. That would have been a wild fight to watch at the Apex during COVID when there was no one there.
Oh shit!
Like that Dan Hooker Poirier fight, where it was just like you heard every thump, like Gaethje when he fought Ferguson when everything's empty. Like,
oh yeah,
that would have been one of those. That would have been one of those ones where you're like, Jesus, man, these guys are throw a row, and so yeah, no, you'll thoroughly enjoy that one. I'm sure I'll get a text from you soon when you watch that one.
Okay.
After we're wrapping up.
Yeah. Let's get on to this next card. Well, we have a week off. Next weekend there's no fights.
Labor Day week.
But September.
We could touch on the.
Sorry, what?
We could touch on the Contender Series because I'm pretty sure there's a dude that's been in UFC. Where is he? No, maybe it's not this week.
In the Contender Series?
Yeah, I swear I saw a guy that I recognized from maybe UFC, but it doesn't look like that.
Well, we could probably do next week we could do like a end of the year preview kind of thing, fall preview. And we can talk about the Contender Series as well, and just all the pay-per-views coming up, what we're excited for, whatever. But yeah, we'll figure something out. Or we could do another flashback if we want. We haven't done one of those in a while.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, we'll figure it out. But let's get on to, what is it, September 7th, another fight night at the Apex as well. We have Gilbert Burns and Sean Brady as our main event, which is huge for the welterweight division, like we were just talking about. Jessica Andrade and Natalia Silva. Steve Garcia back in here against Kyle Nelson. That's
so impressive,
fight.
Dude, that
Steve Garcia
someone to watch.
He fought Choi July 20th. So,
yeah, he's good.
So yeah, I can't wait to see that. Yeah, he fought just over a month ago. Matt Schnell and Alessandro Costa. Then we got Trevor Peak against Yanal Ajmuz.
Someone's getting stopped in that one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yep. That fight right there. Someone's getting stopped in that one.
Dude, Ryan Spann and OSP in the
prelims. That's a good fight. Good matchup, yeah.
Yeah. And I think Andre Lima. Andrei Petrosky, I feel like I've seen him before. So yeah, I mean, still, dude, like these free cards are even like pretty good, man. Got some great
I always enjoy them, man. Yeah. Especially that main event. I think that's worth the whole thing. That's a great fight, dude. Gilbert Burns and Sean Brady's going to be.
Have I seen Sean Brady fight? I'm sure I have.
Yeah, he's a bully, dude. It'll be an interesting fight because the guy like Sean Brady, he tends to lean on his grappling. So it's kind of funny how you look at ESPN, I'm looking at Gilbert Burns. It says fighting style, striker, and John Brady, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm like, well, I think they both know Jiu-Jitsu, so that'd be
They
interesting.
definitely do.
Right?
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. I'm kind of curious to see how that goes.
Oh, he beat
Um,
Gastelum in his last fight?
yeah, he's only lost to the champ before he became the champ. He lost to Bilal Muhammad.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
That's really his only recent loss. Oh, ever. I'm sorry. It's his only loss.
Wow.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
oh, he's a beast, man. So it'll be a fun fight. Looking forward to see how that one goes down.
Nice.
I mean, Gilbert Burns, dude. He's always someone I love watching. So, but there
Yeah.
are some good matchups throughout the card there. So I'll be interested. That's a good one. Plus it starts early. I like that too. First weekend of football, Jim. That's always good.
Oh man.
That's what that is. So the Saturday before.
And I'm looking forward to Steve Garcia again, man. Like he impressed me that last fight. Like he
Oh yeah,
wasn't supposed to win that fight. Wasn't he a huge underdog against Choi?
I believe so. Yeah, and he stopped him in the first.
And he fights with does he fight with Cheeto Garcia? Who does he fight
Is
with?
Cheeto or Jackson Wink? 'Cause that's where Steve Garcia is Jackson Wink.
Oh, so then yeah, okay.
I don't. No, he's with
No, or is it?
Cheeto's with who's that old striking coach that Bisping had? The guy that's really good.
I can't remember.
Shit.
Either way, I'm
He
looking
has
forward to it,
space.
man. Any guy who
Yeah.
does what he did in his last fight and comes back like a month later to fight again he gets a check mark in my book, man.
Oh, absolutely. You
Yeah.
got two guys with one name, Jim.
Huh?
You got two guys with one name, kind of like McLovin, but Chinese.
Where?
Was it Rongju? Rongju? He's
Where's
fighting
that?
Chris Padilla on that same card.
Oh, Rongju. Yeah.
Rongju and then Yiza.
Yiza.
I think is he part of the Wu Tang? Is he?
I don't know. Doesn't look like it.
And no, I don't think so. Oh, he's coming off a championship win here, Jim. Ooh, someone to watch them maybe.
Who?
It looks like this guy's he's pretty much making his UFC debut because he was on Road to UFC. You know those things that they I think they do in the. I think they have an Asian version in maybe Brazil, but like to do like Road to UFC, and then they have like a winner of it. It's very similar to Contender Series, I would imagine, or like Ultimate Fighter in a way for certain parts of the world.
Yeah.
He's coming off a win of that.
And who's this you're
And he
talking about?
also has. That's weird.
Who is this you're talking about?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yiza.
Yeah, I was just looking at him. He's like 24-4, isn't he?
Yeah, I was taking a look at his record here. It says he has a title fight, but I'm like, how does he have a 3-round title fight in UFC?
I'm on UFC.com and it says the only fight that he has on here is against Jung Yong Lee, and he lost to him.
Yeah, I saw that split decision, but it also shows a title on it. I wonder if that's a title of the Road to the UFC thing they do.
Oh.
It's obviously not a title because it's 3 rounds.
Yeah, I don't know.
Either way, there's like you said, there's pretty much every one of these free cards. There's just so much talent on it where it's just like that last card was really good to watch. Like throughout, there's a lot of stoppage. There's a lot of action. That was a good card.
Yeah, the thing with these free cards is like at face value when we're talking about it, a week ahead of time, we point out, names we know and this and that, but there's always at least one like person that outperforms and makes a name for himself, at least in our eyes, in my eyes, when I'm watching, that I go, oh shit, I got to watch this guy, his next fight. And you get excited about it. There's always at least one on these free cards, which is exciting. And then you're like, okay, then maybe, because we've done this before. We looked at old UFC cards, like pay-per-views, and we're like, oh shit, he was on that. He was the first fight on the prelims. It's like then they become like title contenders and stuff like that. And that's why I think stuff like the Contender Series is great. The free cards at the Apex are great. If you're a fan, it's always good to see. It's kind of like watching college, right? College basketball or something. Seeing the prospects before they make it to the NBA, it's like the same thing. You're just watching these guys like, and not just that, but like get better every fight and evolve into championship contenders or like top 5, top 10 guys. And it's like Paddy Pimblett, like everyone doubts him every fight, but he just keeps getting better and outperforming his last fights.
True.
It's just great to see them earlier on when they're really low in the rankings. If you can, I know every week is kind of tough to watch for everybody, even for me. Like, I didn't watch the prelims. I missed all the prelims this past weekend.
You have a life though.
Yeah, well, most people do.
Yeah, I don't, dude. I work and I watch. So
yeah, it's tough to keep track of.
It is hard. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but when you do, and you see that one performer that stands out, and you burn that person's last name in your head, and you see him come up 3 months from now, you're like, oh, I remember that guy. Watch out for this guy. You do it all the time. You know a lot more names than I do. And you're like, you watch out for that guy. He's, and I listen. I trust your judgment, and it's always
that
right.
guy's got fists of fury. That's what I tell you, right?
Fists of fury. Belt-fed
that
fists.
That guy right there? That guy? His fists? Full of fury, dude. Watch out.
Fire and fury.
So. But that's just, like I said, that's just like being obsessed. Like, we got to get more into now that we have that UFC Fight Pass thing, we got to get more into that, because there's tons of those small organizations that have the free events you can watch on there too.
Yeah.
Which are always good, dude. Brazilian event. I watch, there'd be like a lot of late night ones. I'm like, oh, it's a live Brazil one. I'll just jump in there because I don't even care where it is.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. So
that's cool. Yeah, I'll have to check out. I've only went on the Fight Pass once since you got it. I got to check out that a lot more, because I need to know how to search things. Can you search for like any fight? Like if I want to go back and watch pretty much anything?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
It pretty much has every fight that they've had. So, which is cool for like, for us for like pay-per-view when we're doing like research stuff, so we can watch all the fights back.
Yeah, I started doing that with Borralho.
Nice.
I watched the...
I'll do that with the pay-per-views mainly.
Yeah, what was his last fight before this one? What was that dude's name? With the silver hair or whatever. Wasn't he from Scotland? Scotland.
Oh, Paul Craig?
Yeah, I watched that one. Yeah,
it's tough. That was kind of the Meerschaert thing. You got to get that fight where you want it. Otherwise, it's not going to be... That's probably a tough matchup for Paul Craig, because Borralho, in his own right, is pretty damn good jiu-jitsu-wise, I'm pretty sure. So
yeah, for sure.
That would have been interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap it up there. Like I said, next week we'll talk a little bit about it, but maybe we could do, and we could talk about the Contender Series a little bit, see what happens tomorrow night.
I think, Jim.
Yeah.
Personally, I think it's a perfect time to do another flashback.
All right, let's do a flashback.
I think so.
And we'll talk about possible...
We may as well get them in when we can, like when it makes sense. And I think now makes perfect.
Yeah. All right. Let's do that. Sounds good. So we'll have another flashback for you guys next week. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the support. As always, you can follow us on Instagram or YouTube at the handle Pinnacle_combat. We have every episode of this podcast on YouTube and Spotify. Thank you, Dan, for doing this every week. I appreciate it. I know it's a little bit out of all of our time schedules and stuff, but I always enjoy it, so thank you.
I would make it work every time, dude. It's always... No, I enjoy it, so no, thank you, man.
Yeah, because we'd be doing this anyways, even if we didn't press record.
Yeah.
We'd be talking shit every week anyway.
No, it's fun. Absolutely.
All right, but until next week, peace.
See you.